Alright, so this is the first speaker box I've ever built using the rotor tool that you see here, so be gentle with the reviews or the comments at the end of this. So now that I've finally got my dimensions out of WinISD and Subbox Pro, I'm going to put this thing together. So as you can see, I've got the pieces all cut and I've got my tools kind of laid out, so I'm going to get to it. I think probably about the trickiest part of this was using this whole rotor jig here. I'd never used this thing. Some assembly was definitely required when I put this thing together, but I did figure it out. The only downside to it is the plunge rotor I'm using here is just the Milwaukee unit, and it kind of wiggles a little bit inside the base, so you get this like little 16th or a 32nd of an inch when you're adjusting the height, kind of that doesn't match with what you're trying to cut. But overall, very impressed with how the cuts of the circles turned out. Before I put the whole box together and assembled the final thing, I kind of laid it all out, put it all in place, and made sure it would actually fit, dry fit the thing, if you will. And then I put glue between all the joints, and I used a pin nailer to hold everything in after clamping it up to make sure that the enclosure was as airtight as possible. Probably getting the first piece put together was probably the toughest part. I don't know if you need a jig for this or whatever, but anyway, I did manage to get it to work, and it's relatively flush. It's okay. It's not perfect, but for a test box, I think this will suffice. After I got a couple of sides up, things start to go a little easier because now you got two sides holding the piece, and life starts becoming a little bit better as far as the assembly part of it goes. Once I've got this whole thing together, it definitely is the ugliest thing on the planet. It's not pretty, but like I say, for testing, this thing's gonna work. It did not go perfectly. It went decently. I think the port is exact, which is one of the things I really wanted, and the enclosure is airtight. And the holes where the speakers sit, that's all good. So the key components of this box as far as the testing box goes, I think I hit that. As you can see, the corners are not all flush here. There's some overlap, 16th inch or whatever it is, 8th inch on one of the front panels. It's not pretty, it's not perfect. I can easily router and sand it down if I did want to make this box. Like if I did want to clean it up and fix it up, I could definitely do that. Router bit would do the trick, or just sand it so it's flat and then round the corners. And I could de-uglify this box somewhat. For a first build overall, pretty happy with how this thing came together. Yeah, nothing else to do at this point in time. Now that I got the box built, I could let the glue dry, which should take more than a couple of hours. This MDF sucks up glue, something fierce. And then we're going to put the speakers into that, and we'll kind of see how that goes. You want to see how that step goes, or how I put this the speakers in here and actually have a listen to it for the first time? Video is going to be up here when it's done. If you do have tips or comments on any of the methods or how to put these things together to save me grief, leave in the comments down below. I will pay attention to them. I am learning. Take me with a grain of salt. I'm just trying to see what I can come up with if I put some time in.